What's up, fellas? Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's good to see you. We're going to do a little rap session today for you guys about financial freedom, financial independence, the rat race, things like that. We're going to be talking about some struggles of the modern man. I wasn't on call today, so my wife and I, we spent the day together. We went to church and we went to a restaurant, a cool place that we like to go to. It's got a lot of cool, like, Western culture and all those things. So I threw the hat on, I threw the boots on. Man, I want to rap a little bit about church this morning. So we go to this church and we're Protestants. We're not Catholics. We're not LDS. Sometimes I think we should be LDS, even though I don't agree with all their beliefs, Those guys are elite, okay? The LDS, the Mormons, if you didn't know, they're called the Mormons, but they're LDS. Those guys are elite, man. They're cool. They've got it squared away. They look squared away. But hey, so we go to this Protestant church, and we're in a series about marriage, right? Keep in mind, it's Father's Day. The time that I'm filming this, it's Father's Day. That's the backdrop of today's discussion. But they're in a series about marriage. Essentially, the guy that gets up there, he's a boomer. He's above 60 years old. He's a boomer. He comes from a complete different era than I do, with a complete different deck of cards that he's working with, right? His frame of reference is completely different from mine. Essentially, in my opinion, what should be a day of encouragement to men, of appreciation for men, a time of building up men, it didn't go that way, folks. Essentially, this entire sermon was a 45-minute lambasting of all that men should do better, all the areas that men fail in, and while doing that, sprinkling in areas where women do very well or praise. So it was the typical negative talk over here and then positive self-talk over here for the women. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. We went over many of the typical verses about how men should be the head of the household, how they should lead their wife, all of these things, these serious responsibilities, these tough realities a man has to deal with, some serious stuff. Just going on and on. Men, don't look at corn. Don't cheat on your wife. Don't denigrate your wife. Don't talk poorly about your wife. Like, obviously, these are some pretty obvious things. Okay. Yeah. Obvious. And then, we keep on reading the verses, and then we get to the part where it talks about how, more about the roles, right? So, husbands, love your wife as Christ loves the church. That's a huge challenge, right? It's an honor, but it's a challenge. It's something that you can't quite live up to. It's impossible, because we can't love as much as Jesus Christ loved his people, right? And then it says, wives. So the first part is, wives, submit to your husbands, right? And then that's a verse. And then another verse is, husbands, love your wife as Christ loves the church. When the pastor came to the part about submission, it's like he became Kevin Hart for a second. He decided to become a comedian. He said the word submission and then he ducked as to avoid the incoming projectiles, the incoming tomatoes being thrown up into the pulpit, or really onto the stage, because he is a comedian. This guy was being a complete boomer, out of touch comedian. And he did that in order to elicit a lighthearted reaction, to sort of take the tension out of the words in the scripture, right? This is the Bible. This is what we're supposed to live by as per Protestant Catholic worldviews, right? And Mormon LDS worldviews. This is what we're supposed to go by. Okay, we shouldn't sit here and shudder at the words in the Bible. But he does this, and of course he's got all the women laughing, lighthearted, laughing, taking the edge off the verse. And the whole time, he's talking about how great his wife is and how stupid he is, how much smarter his wife is, and how his wife does everything so much better than he does. In every metric, she's better, except one metric, and that's being a leader. That's being the leader, the glue that's holding the household together. That is the one thing that he does. And so I'm sitting here digesting this. I'm just taking all of this in. I'm looking around at my surroundings thinking, is this real? Like, am I in, the Truman Show? Is this real life? Is this this is the humiliation ritual that I have to put myself through? What happened? What's going on, man? We as men, we think so little of ourselves that we are going to go along with this humiliation ritual. Like this boomer that probably made 15 grand a year was able to provide for his whole family, buy a 2-story house on 5 acres, and his wife not work. He's got his little funny tongue-in-cheek way that he's been able to appease his wife, but it sounds like his wife has been running him all over, man. She's been running the show this whole time. And so you're telling me and other young men that perhaps decided to go down the route to get married, you're telling me, essentially, you're telling me to be like you. Okay? That's what you are. You are being a fool up here. You're giving yourself lashings, essentially, up on stage in front of everybody. And you are becoming this. You are being a fool. So you're doing this and you're trying to convince other men, let's just say other men that are married, to do as you are saying to do. On Father's Day, self-deprecating. I'm not buying it. And I was also thinking about the young men in the room that are not yet married. And so I'm thinking, okay, a ton of young men have completely written off marriage. However, the ones that are still considering this whole marriage thing, they're probably in attendance here today. Okay? On Father's Day, maybe they're sitting next to their dad, right? So they're considering this. They're like, okay, I'm open to this. I'm coming to church. Marriage is a part of faith, all right? So I'm here. Okay, I'm here. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm here. And then I see you boomer, you individual who so out of touch, grew up in a different era where you could just go down the street, girl next door, plug and play. You're married at 19 or 20. You got a job that can pay for everything. Meanwhile, I'm currently in an economy that is holding me back at every step. We're importing people from the third world, taking my jobs, taking our women, and you're basically just saying to step up. All the while calling yourself a fool. I should do this. I should do this humiliation ritual, but I should also call myself a fool, and I should get no respect, and I should say that I'm a babbling idiot the whole way. That's what I'm getting from this sermon right now. Nothing positive, nothing building men up, nothing painting men as strong leaders who are imperfect, but are here and they sacrifice for their family day in, day out. There was none of that. Nothing about, hey, fathers, okay, like at the very beginning of the sermon, they said, hey, everyone who's a father, stand up. We're going to pray for you. Okay, so we prayed. But there was absolutely zero about, hey, children, look at your father. Think about what they do for you. Think about the meals that they provide for, that they pay for, the clothing they pay for. Hey, teenagers, the cars that you have, the gas in the cars, the registration, the insurance, the tires. That's all from your father, more than likely. Unless you're a cuckold and you don't make enough money and your wife is the one making all the money, okay? None of that. There's none of, wives, look at your husbands and admire your husbands. Give them admiration. Give them respect. Even when it's hard, give your husband respect and encourage them, build them up so they can continue to go out and do what they do every single thankless day. Because oftentimes people overlook the paycheck. Like, honestly, like that's something that like, oh, he makes the money, but what else does he do? No, back up, because the father, the head of the household, that brings home the dough, like that literally does everything. So if you don't have batteries in a remote control, it does not work. The money is the batteries. Without the money, you don't do anything. Without the father, without the husband, you don't do anything. You don't get anything. You have no momentum. It was crazy, man. It was crazy that I was fed this garbage in this church, and I suspect that you can't stand up and be a strong man. You can't do that. They don't really want that, okay? The wives that are running these men's lives, they're the ones that control the church. Even though this is a conservative-leaning church, the backdrop of 50, 60, 70 years of first, second, third, fourth wave feminism has completely injected itself into the psyche of even well-meaning Christian women. And they are running their husbands' lives, and subsequently, they're running the board of directors of these churches. And there's certain things you can and cannot say. And so I'm thinking, okay, so I'm not sure that my agenda, the way I believe, my wife and I believe, I'm not sure quite so sure we fit here, because I retired my wife. I make enough money, she does not have to work. She loves it. Okay, she loves it. She's got a husband that takes care of everything she needs. I'm leading. I'm actually doing it. And I just want, I bet you anything that pastor, I think he was a part-time pastor, not the main guy. I don't think he's the main guy. I'm not writing this place off completely. But I don't think this guy would be very receptive to what I'm saying right now. Because I think the dissent from the other side, from these women in the backdrop of this church, I think it would be so loud and so consuming that I don't think he would want to deal with anything like that. I don't think DMD, hey DMD, frick you, you're just one. There's 20, 30 women that are going to come at this, and I just can't deal with it, man. So I'm going to be self-deprecating. I'm going to call myself an idiot, essentially, on stage. I'm gonna be this court jester. I'm gonna gesture max for everybody in this congregation. I'm gonna do that so I can get my message out, so I can get you some scripture. Okay, I'm not gonna throw it at you too hard. I'm gonna gesture max. You're gonna get your scripture. It's gonna be light, and the women are gonna be happy and appeased, and you're gonna shut up. I imagine that's essentially what I would receive. It was a good day though, man. We left church. We went to go eat. We got a burger. Burger was all right, but we just had a good time, my wife and I. We know what's up, man. We know what's up. My wife, she knows what's up because I'm there to show her. I was there to point it out. It's funny because she didn't pick up on all of these things because let's be honest, she's not a man. She has not experienced, gone through what I've gone through, the whole gambit of being completely a freaking nobody to then like rank number 2 of nobody and then again and again and again all the way, college student and working a gap year job and all of this and humiliation ritual of dating apps trying to find her. She doesn't know. She doesn't know what it's like to be a man. She doesn't know what it's like to be completely dismissed and unappreciated at every step. So I broke it down to her and I explained all of these points and I said, what do you think? You think a young man would want to sit through this and listen to this? Do you think they would respect this? Do you think that they would even want to get married after listening to all this? I believe in marriage. I do. But I tell you what, man, I mean, it's tough out there. It's tough. We need good leaders. We need some people that are in shape, that has a wife that will shut her freaking mouth and will listen to him, and that has children, and the wife and the husband are both attractive. They're likable. They're attractive. They've got something going for themselves. We need these people as leaders. We don't need out of touch boomers who don't know anything. Let's be honest. The boomers do not know anything. They are so clueless. Don't listen to a boomer. I believe in listening to your elders. But I'm also an adult now. Like, I'm a full-on grown man. I have a house I'm paying for, renting it. I'm paying for this. I'm paying for the food in my fridge. I'm paying for my wife. I'm paying for everything. Dude, I'm an adult. I can tell a boomer off. I can tell a boomer what reality is. Like, I have enough experience now to be able to tell someone, hey, you're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. Step out of the way. Let me give you the correct narrative. Let me explain this correctly. I'm old enough to be able to speak to a 14-year-old guy, and I probably have enough experience to speak to someone that's older than me, maybe to 38, 39, maybe 40. All right? The boomers have to go. They need to just sit down. They need to go somewhere else, man. I love my parents to death. I absolutely adore them. That's kind of weird to say that. Look, I love my parents. I admire them. My dad, he's done so much for me. He's out of touch. Okay, he's out of touch. This pastor, completely out of touch, man. It's something else, dude. It's something else. How are you guys with this, man? I've had a lot of viewers. It sounds like they're, I don't know, maybe atheist, maybe probably never getting married, or maybe they're Christian or never getting married. Or there was one guy that was saying he was Christian and married the perfect one and it didn't work out. Man, what's your experience with this? Being a dude, just being a dude, going to church, and I don't know. It just seems like a humiliation ritual, dude. I keep going back to that. But it just does not seem fruitful. And people wonder why there's a flood to Eastern Orthodoxy, right? That's pretty popular right now. Young men are going to that because they see these dudes in with beards that are strong looking and tough looking and say some Gregorian chants, and they're like, oh man, this is where it's at. This is where it's at. This is it, man. This is some masculine energy. There's no flippin' woman that's going to get up here and control the narrative. There's none of that here. This is what we're about. Okay? Anyways, hey, thanks for tuning in. I hope I earned your subscription. I hope I earned your like, and I hope I earned your comment. Let me know what you think below. I'm just going to enjoy the rest of this evening. Get ready for tomorrow. It's going to be tough, man. Oral surgery, here we go. Long clinic days, long call nights, but hey, it's going to be worth it, guys. Till next time, DMD out.